All right, my name is Jorn, and this is
Jacob.
And today we will be discussing juvenile justice system. So I have a quote from an article, and the quote reads, "An 11-year-old boy in Tennessee is facing first-degree murder charges in the death of an 8-year-old he shot after he asked to see her puppy, and she said no. The boy used his father's 12-gauge shotgun, taking it from an unblocked closet, according to the story in the Washington Post. The local prosecutor will decide whether to charge the boy as an adult." So I personally don't think he should be charged as an adult based off of what has been said in that quote. I think that he probably wasn't thinking straight and just, thought that'd be a good decision in the moment. So, all right, Jacob.
All right, my quote is from the same thing Jordan did. My first quote is, "An 11-year-old boy in Tennessee is facing first-degree murder charges in the death of an 8-year-old girl he shot after he asked to see her puppy, and she said no." The boy used his father's 12-gauge shotgun, taken from an unlocked closet. According to the story in the Washington Post, the local prosecutors will decide whether to charge the boy as an adult or not. And I think from this, the boy should be prosecuted as an adult, because the fact he shot up an 8-year-old girl with a 12-gauge because she said you couldn't pet her puppy is a little dumb to me. So, yeah, I think he should be tried as an adult.
All right. My second quote I got is 14 states have no minimum age at which children can be prosecuted as adults. According to the Equal Justice Initiative, in some cases, children younger than 10 have been prosecuted as adults. I think each state should maybe come together and decide. But I think there should be some type of way states are able to talk to each other and maybe have the same laws. Jacob, what quote do you got next?
Alrighty, for my second quote, it is, "For centuries, American and English common law held that children under the age of 14 were not legally capable of forming criminal intent," which I think is a lie, because there are, like my last quote, kids who will shoot people over the littlest things with 12-gauge shotguns, and that proves them wrong right there. So, therefore, I think there are some kids that do deserve adult crime times for doing the adult crimes.
Cool. All right, my third quote I have from Startling Finds on Teenage Brains. It reads, "Jurors returned with their verdict May 16th as 14-year-old Brazil, charged in last May's shooting of middle school teacher Granau, was found guilty of second-degree murder. I think if any kid decides to shoot somebody, he should be charged with some type of penalty, but I just don't think the penalty should be as bad as an adult penalty." Jacob?
All right, for my third quote, Jordan already said it. 14 states have no minimum age at which children can be prosecuted as adults. According to the Equal Justice Initiative, in some cases, children younger than 10 have been prosecuted as adults. And I think to that some kids should and shouldn't, because if they're mentally ill in the head, then yeah, I don't think they should be thrown into jail with a whole bunch of weirdos, older people. But if the kid isn't mentally ill and does something like shoot somebody with a 12 gauge, then I do think they should go to jail for a lifetime.
Awesome. My fourth quote I have here is, "In terms of cognitive development, as research on the human brain has shown, Brazil and any other young teen is far from adulthood. I think with research that I have done and with the class, it definitely shows that teenage brains are not fully developed. But I also think it is just flat out wrong to just murder somebody." So, Jacob, what do you got?
My fourth quote is, "A Floridian grand jury had previously ruled that Brazil, who frequently looked dazed during the trial, would be tried as an adult, and if he had been convicted on first-degree murder, he would have been faced life in prison without parole. So that quote was about a man or a child who killed a man. Okay, so, and the child wasn't like 10 or 9, he was like 14, 15, which I think he should be tried as an adult because he literally just ended a man's life.
Yep.
And yeah, I agree with it because he should not go to jail with parole. He should just live there.
All right, so my 5th quote is from a different article about punishment and teen killers. So it reads, "My youngest sister was the joy of our close family when a teenager murdered her and her husband in 1990 in suburban Chicago. She was pregnant with their first child. She begged for the life of their unborn child as he shot her." I think this is just flat out wrong, and no teen should want to kill somebody who is pregnant with the kid.
Alright, my 5th quote. "But the fact remains that children are children. They are not adults, and their brains do not work the same as an adult. Just ask any parent. Children cannot enlist in the military. Children, indeed, adults under 21 cannot legally order a beer. Children cannot enter into contracts." This is like, it's like, it's I agree with some of this, but also at the same time I don't, because there are some kids that aren't in the right mind. There some are, and if you're like 15 and you like kill somebody, then I think is wrong, and you should go to jail for life.
All right, this is my sixth and final last quote. It's from that same article about that lady who's pregnant. "This offender is now serving 3 life sentences in the Illinois Department of Corrections, according to Charles Stimson, a leading expert in criminal law at the Heritage Foundation Center for Legal and Judicial Studies. He's one of 1,300 cases nationally of a teen killer sentenced as an adult to life, sometimes called JLWOP, or juvenile life without parole." I think it definitely depends on the case for if a juvenile should be charged as an adult. I think this case he definitely should be, because he did not only took the life of one person but 2, and it's just flat wrong. So
Alrighty, my final quote is, "Reporters from Teen Activist ask, do the studies help explain the impulse erratic behavior of teens? The biggest surprise in recent teen brain research is finding that a massive loss of brain tissue occurs in the teen years." Which makes sense for a lot of the murders that some teens do, since they probably aren't thinking in that way, the right mind. But at the same time, just because you're in your wrong mind doesn't mean you should kill somebody and end someone's life. So that is, all my quotes.
cool. Alrighty, well, thanks for listening to our podcast. See you next time.